everyone. So in our last lesson, we learned about square roots and taking the square root of a number to find one side of a square. And we also learned that when you square a number, it's the base and it's just multiplied by itself 2 times. Well, today we're going to use this idea of squared numbers to help us solve some problems. And the problems that we're going to be looking at today have to do with triangles. And these triangles come to us with a really famous rule in math. And this rule is called the Pythagorean Theorem. The Pythagorean Theorem was found by a Greek mathematician and philosopher whose name was Pythagoras. And Pythagoras created this famous rule when he used right triangles. So we're going to talk today a little bit about what his famous rule is or was and what he discovered when he was solving right triangles. So Pythagoras discovered that, as we know, triangles have 3 sides. He discovered that on right triangles, you can name these sides 3 different things. So the first side that we have is the leg, okay? So right here, this part here, this is called a leg of a right triangle. And this leg is called leg A. And then we also have another leg on our right triangle. And this leg is called leg B. So this one is on the bottom, and this one is called leg B. You might be able to remember that because it's on the bottom. I don't know. And then lastly, we have another part of our triangle, which is this part right here. It's the one that's on the angle. It's the one that when you take your square and you fold it, you get the angle from corner to corner, and that creates your right triangle. Well, this angle right here is actually called the hypotenuse. And so this is called the hypotenuse, but we also call it C, or angle C. So hypotenuse. And this is also called C. So you have A, you have B, and you have C, or the hypotenuse. So in any right triangle, Pythagoras found out that if you take A and you square it, and you take B and you square leg B, you will get the hypotenuse squared. And so he discovered that the lengths of the legs are equal to the square of this hypotenuse. So this plus this gives you this squared. And so we're going to write that down right now. So let's talk about Pythagorean Theorem. So Pythagorean Theorem is a rule that says leg A, so A squared plus leg B squared is equal to our hypotenuse squared. So one leg squared plus another leg squared is going to give us C squared. And so this theorem that he, this famous rule that he found can be used and applied to find how much this diagonal is worth, or how the length of it. And so today we're going to discover how to find the hypotenuse. So Pythagorean Theorem And this is the formula or the famous rule that we will be using in math today. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to rewrite out the Pythagorean theorem. So the Pythagorean theorem says a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And we're going to use this formula over and over and over again. So example A, we want to find the length of a hypotenuse when your triangle looks like this. So we're going to have a triangle, and it's a right triangle, and your right triangle looks like that. Okay. One side is 12 centimeters, and another side we don't know, and then we have another leg that is worth 5 centimeters. So we can find angle C by using a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And what we're going to do is we're just going to plug in the different parts of this equation. So we're just going to match them up. So leg A, leg B, and leg C. So, or hypotenuse C, excuse me. So let's go ahead and start with A. So we're just going to go ahead and square this. So 12 squared. Plus, we're going to take this leg here, and that's our B, and that's going to be plus 5 squared. And we're looking for our letter C, which is c squared. So let's go ahead now and solve this. So we have 144 because 12 times 12 gives us 144. Plus, we have 5 times 5, which we know is 25. And this is going to continue to equal c squared. So when we add 144 and 25, we will get our letter C, and that equals, so that's 9 and 6, 169. So C squared is 169. However, we want to know what this is here, and we know it's not squared. None of these were squared until we put them into the formula. So our job is to basically like unsquare or find the square root of 169. And the square root then of 169 is going to be 13 because 12 times 12 gave us 144, so 13 times 13 is our next number in the list, and you can multiply that out if you wanted to double check it. But C is going to equal 13 centimeters. Okay, so you just find the square root of the 169. So here we're just going to write that out. Find the square root up here. We use substitution, so we can add that in there. Use substitution. Oh, I didn't spell it right. Tuition. Oh my goodness. All right, so we substitute, then we find the square root, and we solve. All right, let's do another example of how do we use or how do we find the Pythagorean theorem. So we're going to have another triangle that we're going to look at. Okay, in this triangle, let's do example B. So example B says that we have one length here, one length here, and then we have the hypotenuse. So this leg is 3 inches, this leg is 4 inches, and then we're looking for letter C. Okay, so then we're looking for letter C. Okay, so our job is to, first of all, look at the Pythagorean Theorem so that we can use substitution. So we have a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So our leg A is 3 inches, so we're going to put it in here. So this is 3 squared, plus we have leg B, which is 4 inches, so 4 squared, and we are looking for c squared. So now what we have to do is we've used substitution. Now we're going to solve by squaring. So 3 squared is the same as 3 times 3, which gives us 9, plus 4 times 4, which is 16, and that gives us c squared. Okay, so we're still solving here. And then what we're going to do is we are going to take 16 and 9, and that gives us 15, carry the 1, 25. And in order to do it, we're just going to take the square root of 25, and we know that 5 times 5 equals 25. So our answer is C equals 5 inches. All right, so C, this hypotenuse here is 5. You could even add it in over here if you want, 5 inches. Okay. All right, let's do another example. We're going to do example C. Example C. In example C, we're going to have another right triangle, and I just realized I didn't put my my right triangle box in my last 2 triangles, and I apologize for that. So this little right triangle symbol, you can go ahead and add that. Okay, so in this triangle, we have this leg, and this one is 8 millimeters. This one here is 6 millimeters, and again, we're looking for the hypotenuse. So we're going to use the Pythagorean Theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. So our job now is to figure out, match them up so that we can solve. So leg A is 8. So where I see the A, I'm just going to put 8 squared. Now I'm looking for leg B. Leg B on the bottom. So I have 6 squared for 6 millimeters. And again, I'm looking for, oh, I should circle that for you so you can see it. That's where I substituted it in. And then C, we don't know C, so we're just going to write C squared. Okay, now we're going to solve by squaring. So let's solve by squaring. 8 times 8 fell on the floor, picked himself up, and was 64. So we get 64 there. 6 squared plus 6 squared gives us 36. 6 times 6 is 36. And then we still have a c squared. Okay, so let's look here. We need to add these up so that we can find out what c squared is. So when c is squared, it equals 100. So when c is squared, it equals 100. So our job is to unsquare it, or find the square root of 100. Well, we know that 10 times 10 gives us 100. So 10 is letter C. So 10 millimeters is the length of the hypotenuse. Okay, it is your turn now for a try it. So let's go ahead and give you some try its here. So the first try it that I would like for you to do it says that you have a triangle that is drawn like this. All right, so you're looking for the hypotenuse right now, and it says 15 feet and 8 feet. Okay, so there's one right there. And let's see, the next triad that we're going to do, I don't want to do that one because that one has fractions in it, and I don't think we need to worry about fractions right now. Let's do this one. So triad number 2. Again, you're looking for letter C. This one is 9 meters by 12 meters. All right, so go ahead and hit pause right now so you don't hear me solving. And then when you are ready, you can come on back. All right, so we have a squared plus b squared, and it's going to equal c squared. So let's start by plugging some things in. Here's the base, it's on the bottom. So we have 15 squared. So that's like 15 times 15. And then we have leg A, which is going to be 8 squared. And we're looking for the c squared. All right, so 8 times 8, I know, is 64, plus 15 times 15. So let's do a little bit of math here. So that's 25, carry 2, 5, 6, 7. And that is 5, and that is 1. 10, 12. So 225. So we get 225, and that is going to equal c squared. All right, now we're going to look for some addition here. So let's just go ahead and add 64. That gives us 9, 6, 7, 8, 289. All right, so 289 equals c squared. Okay, so we could do some guess and check here to kind of figure out where we're at, but we already know that 15 times 15 gave us 225. So we can pick like another number that we think is going to get us closer to 289, or you can go on Desmos and use the Desmos calculator square root symbol. Let me see if I can pull that up so that we can use the Desmos calculator so I can show you what it looks like. Okay, so if you go on to Google and you just search Desmos Scientific Calculator, you will find this one. You can just plug in what you're looking for. So we want to find the square root of the number 289. And then it tells you your answer right here. It is 17. So this calculator will help you be able to find the square root of the answers that you're looking for when your numbers start to get kind of big. That way you're not doing guess and check all the time. So our answer then to letter C, to the hypotenuse, is 17 feet. Okay, so C equals 17 feet. All right, and our last one that we have 9 squared plus 12 squared equals c squared. 9 squared is 81, because 9 times 9 is 81, plus 144, and that again is going to equal c squared. So we have 8 and 1, or 4 and 1 is 5, and that's 12. So 225 equals c squared. So when c is squared, it equals 225. Let's use this tricky calculator again to help us. Okay, I want to clear it. Okay, so we want the square root of 225. And that gives us an answer of 15, which we already knew if we look right here. Remember, we got 225 before, and that was from multiplying 15 times 15. So our answer is 15 is equal to C, or 15 meters. All right. Okay. Now your job is to answer your essential question. How did you find the hypotenuse of a right triangle? Man, I keep forgetting these right triangle symbols. And then go ahead and put your level of understanding out to the side. And then when you are all finished, you can come on back to the Google Meet and ask me for help. Or you may go on to Big Ideas and do your practice work. As always, I appreciate all of your hard work, and make it a great day.